Kai Show FMers, it's me, FM Cheetah. You can call me Matt, and welcome back to Season 2 of Nobody Loves Leipzig. Yes, we made it through to a second season. After the horror show that was Season 1, we're here, we're still in charge, and we've got to make a go of it because we're not in Europe, so it'll all be about the league. So just a reminder, last season we finished 8th on 48 points, only 40 points behind the league leaders, so we should be able to catch up. We need Champions League football this season, so that is, around Eintracht Frankfurt. They were only 7 points ahead of us. So it's not without possibility. We're just going to need to be more consistent. I guess if you look at, say, even Borussia Mönchengladbach on 58 points and we're on 48, 10 points, it goes to show you how inconsistent teams were during the course of last season because the gap between third and second is just enormous. So one game has been played. It's a 3-0 home victory for Bayern over newly promoted Schalke. Hardly a surprise. It's going to be Bayern, and I guess Dortmund. Although, regarding Dortmund, they sold Erling Haaland for 155 million to Manchester City. So he won't be a threat anymore. God, look at him. He's ridiculous. They also sold Rafa Guerreiro to, was it Monaco? Yeah, Monaco for like 35 million. So they've had a bit of a dent put in them. I mean, you can replace Guerreiro, but Haaland, I don't know. Who they did bring in was Dusan Vlahovic from Fiorentina, I believe. Yeah, Fiorentina for $80 million. He's pretty damn good. I mean, he's no Haaland, but he's pretty bloody good. And they also picked up Serginho Dest from Barcelona. Yeah, he's all right. He's just, developing one of the youth. And they have retained Daniel Marlin's services. He was a pretty big goal threat last season. He was third place in the goal scoring chart from memory, behind Haaland and behind Lewandowski. Real Madrid's Lewandowski, that is. Yeah, okay, so he's gone to Real Madrid. Good. So that's something. I mean, that means something. That's probably more harmful to Bayern than it is to... Oh, no, they're both pretty bad, actually. Yeah, so the two leading strikers have left the Bundesliga. I suspect that's going to have a difference this season. I mean, they brought in some decent players. Ilkay Gundogan came in. Robin Gosens from Atalanta came in. But, neither of these... Actually, Robin Gosens is pretty good now that I look at him. Regardless, none of them are Robert Lewandowski. So, yeah, hopeful. So here is the league table according to the bookies. We're a 20-1 shot at winning the title. Bayern 8-13 are cinched to win it. And then you've got Dortmund on 6-1, and then it becomes Hertha. Here is our schedule. So we've already had a Pokal First Round Cup, a 6-0 win over Bergisch Gladbach. Great. That was pretty straightforward. And we start the season the same way we started last season, away to Mainz. Now, there's no Champions League this season, so we're going to rip through Season 2, see if we can make it to Season 3, because I think Season 2 is the clawback season. I think Season 3 is the one. We'll see. So we're not going to come back for this. We're going to come back for the Dortmund Mönchengladbach game. So that is no games today, just transfers because there's been a couple. Let's start with ones I barely remember. Lucas Kosterman went to Everton at the end of last season for about $7.5 million. I mean, what did he have going for him? He had pace going for him, but he couldn't cross the ball. He could barely tackle. This was an easy sale to make. Villioban to Zenit for a bit over $4 million. The bids came in. He expressed interest in going. Again, I don't think this is the kind of player who's going to, win us the season. And I think it holds back people like Simakan and Guardiola who can really develop. They're young and they're just, from a pure, attribute point of view, much, much stronger than Villioban. So Villi's gone to Zenit. I should just say, just so you're aware, there's almost nothing of the original team left. Barely anything. Hwang Hee-chan went to Caen for $3.8 million. He was at Wolves. Never played him. He never featured. That's fine. Needed him to go. Let's get rid of all the dead wood that we don't need so we can bring in players that are really going to help us this season. Thanks, Hwang. Ademola Lookman went for $7.5 to Wolves. Man, this took forever. He didn't want to go, and whatever happened. Anyway, again, I don't really understand the fuss about Ademola Lookman. He's not developing any further. Anyway, he went. By Ademola. Tyler Adams went to Stoke for 8.5 million. We have plenty of players that can play in that position who have more potential than Tyler. I couldn't get a performance out of him last season. I didn't realise that Stoke had made it into the Premier League, not playing in that league. So he's gone there. Good luck, Tyler. We're going to have a look at probably the major loan out, Emil Forsberg. Couldn't get a taker to buy him, but Bayer have come in to loan him for the season with a mandatory fee of 6.75 million. Yay. So he will be gone by the end of the season. We are paying some of the contract, as you can see. I'm less worried about that. Just happy to have him off the books. Here's a quick one. Marcelo Saraci went to... Where did he go? Went to Freiburg. Went to Freiburg for $500,000. 24. What was he going to do? Nothing. Poor vision, poor positioning. Worked hard, sure, hard working. I expect that from all my players, really. Anyway, bye Marcelo. Then it starts to get a bit bigger. Alexander Sorloth, 2 Wolves for 20 million. I thought for a moment about keeping him, but then I thought, well, yeah, look, I mean, he's not... he's good header and he's a good finisher, but... I've got Poulsen. He can sort of do this kind of job, really. Except he's probably, he can't finish like Sorloth, but that's it. He's 26. It was 20 mil. There were much more interesting targets. Thought, yep, take him. He's gone. Good luck, Alexander. Poulsen, you say? Yeah, then a bid came in from Milan for 35 million. I think it goes to like 45 or something like that. Oh no, it's just a flat out 35, I think with a sell-on clause. He said he wasn't particularly interested in going, so I accepted the offer, thinking, fine. I had a look at him and thought, finishing, yes, hard-working, strong, all those things, a good pressing forward. But when you look down the technicals, I think, this isn't a guy who's going to win you much, is it? So yeah, I took the 35 mil. It's good money. Take the money. And he's gone to Milan. Much better Milan than here in the Bundesliga. All the best, Yusuf. Who needs strikers? Tottenham very early on, I think very long after the end of the season, Tottenham came in for Andre Silva. And he was, of course, interested in talking to them. And we'd had some moments with Andre for sure. There's some good, he's got some great qualities, good finisher, off the ball, anticipation. He's pretty hardworking, all that sort of stuff. But, they came in for some good money. 41 million. I thought, look, 41 million, we can find some really good players. And of course, bear in mind, strikers are leaving and I'm thinking, striker, you need a good striker. You have to have a good striker. And so I accepted it and he went, yeah. And he was the last of the major ones. A few smaller loanees went out, but that was roughly about 120 million outs in total across the board, 120, 130 million in outs. And we already had 50, 60 million in the bank we were keen to spend, and we spent it. So Brooksy, while we bought Brooksy last season, he couldn't play because I think it was a medical condition. Anyway, he's back. So he's sort of like a new signing we already paid for. He's pretty good. He's pretty flary. He's had a pretty good pre-season. We'll deal with that in a moment. He's got a bit of room to grow. Yeah, he's the pause in his development means he's still got some room to grow there. He's only 25. Yeah, maybe the training's not happening at the moment, but I think, this is nice. This is a really nice to have. Of course, he is a winger. He wanted to come in and play as a playmaker, so that's an option. And we'll talk about formations and how we're going to play after this. Actually, while we're on this, I should also talk about Alejandro Frances. Frances, of course, went back on loan to Zaragoza, I think, from where we bought him. He's back now. He has been playing in that position, playing well. So he will feature a lot here. I think from an attribute point of view, he is pretty solid. Technicals aren't the greatest, particularly crossing, but we're working on that. But from a potential point of view, huge. This is a guy with huge potential. He's 20 years old, and look at this. Look at his pros here. Amazing. One con. That's fine. He can learn all that. But the pros here, he's playing at Bundesliga level. He can prove a lot in the future. Has performed especially well in training lately. He's been doing very well. All these things. you know. So he's another little sneaky signing who came in for next to 7.5. Sweet. And that was money already spent. Ruggeri was the other player who we offered a contract to. He was out of contract. We brought him in. He's come in. He too has had a very nice season. I've had a lot of luck with him in FM21, so I'm hopeful it'll be the same. Coach report is nice. I mean, just generally solid. And as we can see, lots and lots of potential. But, great. Operating at the current level, the Bundesliga level, can improve a lot. All the usual things. Displays resolute characteristics. What kind of person is he? He's resolute. Great. Can't fault the resolute. So he was a free. So he will feature a bit, I would say. Angelino is still here, obviously. So he and Angelino are going to be fighting it out for that position. And it wouldn't shock me if Ruggeri finds himself snatching that position. And of course, we have Ricci here. So Ricci and Ruggeri will, they'll comfort each other in a way that only Italian men can. Comments below. Now, there were quite a few signings in, and so I'm quite a few. A lot of sort of low, 1 million signings that came in as youth prospects. So you won't see all of those. This is Mohammad Diamandi. He came in for 5 million. He came in from, was it Nice? No, Nordjylland. He came in for 5 million. An advanced playmaker on attack, apparently. That's nice. He is 20 years old and he's got some potential there. And look, of course, very good dribble, all that sort of stuff. He's a great little player. He's fairly ambitious. That's good to be fairly ambitious, I guess. This is not a player who's going to feature a lot. He might make the bench for cup games, but he might not either. Oh, I should tell you, we have a VAI team, RB Leipzig's VAI. So a second team, and a lot of these players are going to feature in that second team. Weirdly though, no fixtures. So what, the VAI teams don't have fixtures? Anyway. Roko Simic came in for 8 million going to 10. Is that right? Something odd like that. 8.5 going to, pretty sure it's something like 10.5 in potential. We were looking for strikers. To replace all the strikers we lost. And I didn't want to go out and buy Lautaro Martinez. I wanted to spend the money well. And I think this is a good spend. Rocco's going to feature in the second team or the under-19s. May go out on loan. He's a pressing forward. Obviously, he can't finish too much. But, he's 18 years old with bags and bags and bags of potential. So he's only at Bundesliga VAI level. That's fine. That's where he's going to be playing. But wow, bags of potential. Armand Dedic, 7.5 initially, rising to 15, a right back, a young right back, 19-year-old Austrian. So he and Frances will be fighting for that role. Unfortunately, neither of them cross particularly well, but that's not too bad. We'll talk about that. He's going to play. He will play. He will probably play cup games. I think Frances will run that right wing. Certainly had a very good preseason. We'll see how we go. The attributes are low, but this is a 19-year-old. When you think, look how even those attributes are, and then look at this coach report, his potential, you'd say, fantastic. And, we've got to bring players in and grow them. Remember, this is the vision. Play high tempo pressing, bring in under 21s, develop players through the youth system. These are things we need to do. So that's it. And I think, I can't remember I think we did succeed last season on this. But anyway, it means bringing in youth. Paolo Bernardo. Now, Paolo Bernardo is actually a loan signing, but he's going to cost about 7 million for that loan. Deep-lying playmaker on support, 20 years old, bags of potential, lots of great skills, good, easy wages, great stamina, spirited individual. This is all great. And a $22.5 million buyout clause. So good stuff. He's come in as a squad player. He'll be on the bench quite a bit. He might start the odd cup game. We'll see. But, nice to have. And speaking of midfielders, Martinelli, the 20-year-old Brazilian, deep-lying playmaker on defend. That's exactly what we do. Look at his determination. Look at his decision-making. He's just outstanding. Weirdly, though, his stamina. What's going on there? As I said, came in for a flat 12.5 with a pretty solid coach report. He's not going to grow as much as the others, but, I want someone steely there. We've got a plan for that position, that kind of DM position, and it's been working pretty well, and he is pretty fundamental to that. Oh, a guy I forgot. Hello, Thiago Thomas. Came in for a flat 8 million. I took it. Bit of handoff, said, I'm taking that. Yes, we have strikers. Yes, we have strikers like him. This is Thiago Thomas, though. If you haven't watched the Blackburn Roving to the Top series, he was the star of that series. And there are plenty of FM players that have enormous luck with Thiago. We'll see how we go. He came in very, very late, so we haven't seen much of him. But, let's look at the report. Nice. It's pretty solid. He doesn't have the growth of some of the others, but that's okay. He's 20. His mentals are spectacular. So is his physicals. No, his finishing's not great, but, pressing forwards, forwards that can push and push and push and go because stamina is an issue. In this game, we know Gagan pressing and a pressing format, it can be problematic. And we saw that last season. We saw how tired players got all the time. There were probably more injuries just generally across the board than I remember from FM21. Could be a beta issue. Who knows? But I don't think so. I think it has to do with a fundamental shift in the game. Anyway, Thiago Thomas, 8 million. I don't think he's going to start a lot of games. You're all wondering, well, who's going to start all these games? We'll get to that. But, nice to have. Oh, Jiri Pavlenka. So Jiri Pavlenka was on a free. I picked him up. We needed a backup. He's a really solid backup. That's it. Hey, Jiri. How you going? Oh, yeah. Billy Gilmore. He listed. So listed by Chelsea. I don't know why. I mean, anyway, and I know I've got a lot of deep lying playmakers, but he's one of the best, you'd have to say. Just very, very good. Still 21, just 21 years old. And with lots of potential. I mean, very good. Currently playing at Bundesliga level, current international, resolute characteristics. He's resolute, hence his resolute characteristics, I suppose. Very good. He squad player again. So I can play the Rikis and Moraes, Elash Moribas of the world and Slobozais and all those players. I can still play them, and he can be on the bench. And when we need him, he can step up and pass that ball beautifully because he is very nice generally across the board, isn't he? Very good. Oh, yeah, 10 million going to... No, wait, how much? I think 10 million going to 25. Yeah, 10 going to 25. They wanted 21 for him. So I'll give you 10. I'll give you 15 over like 50 games. He'll get 50 games eventually sometime next year. Or, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, I signed him. I signed him because... he's just too good. He's just too good. And yeah, I mean, I know we didn't use him much and all that, but he's just too good. I mean, look at his coaching report. It's insane. Look at his potential. It's amazing. He trains incredibly. He's always in the top trainers. He hardly has any cons. He's got a nice balanced personality. He's excellent. I mean, he's really, really good. Flary. He's got a bit of speed to him. I couldn't know. It was 20 mil and we had lots of money. I thought, oh, I'm going to sign him. I just have to sign him. So I did. So here he is. Oh, and he's been all right too. Yes, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wait a second. Anyway, we'll get to that wait a second in a second. Karim Adeyemi. So if anyone's been watching Work the Spaces, Jack's Newcastle same, you'll see he signed Karim Adeyemi in his second season. And I did too, I guess. And he is absolute phenomenon. We're not playing him at a wing. We're playing him up front as an advanced forward. Yes, I'm sure he's great on the wing. Look at that. He's very natural. He can cut in there. Maybe he will. Who knows? He has been amazing up front in pre-season. It's all about the speed. There will be, his speed, he's off the ball. His anticipation's not too bad. Obviously, composure and finishing need to improve, and they will. They will, but it's all about, the speed and the off the ball. He's so, so good. Taps the ball well and just goes forward. He's a little left-footed, but that hasn't stopped him from scoring a lot of goals in pre-season. He was signed in for 7.5 going to 20.5. So pretty good money for a 20-year-old. And, look, again, bags of ability. So if we look at the squad by potential, there's Conceição, there's Frances, there's Moriba, there's Ricky, there's Gvardiol, there's Adeyemi, there's Dedic, there's Slobozai. I mean, look at that. Look at that. They're not quite 5 stars, but they're bloody good. They are bloody good. So who remains then? Well, Livakovic is obviously still here. Gvardiol is still here. Simakan is still here. We did have some desultory bids for him, but he didn't care to go anyway. Henriks is here. He's not going to play. Angelino is here, as we said earlier. Ricci, of course, Mariba, Almada, Slobozai, Dani Olmo. They've all stayed this season. Nkuku, they've all stayed the season. Brian Bobby stayed as well. He has stayed the season as well. So, they're the signings. And that's the squad. Let's talk tactics. Yeah, wingers are back. So I did start the season without wingers, with this formation, which you'll remember from last season was the formation that sort of got us through, and 2 up front and all this sort of stuff. Played a couple games like this, wasn't getting a lot of results, then shifted to this and then got a lot of results. So this is it. This is how we played. So Adeyemi scored buckloads of goals just running off sort of, early low passes and scoring. We're still playing at the back. We're not playing short. We will occasionally play at a higher tempo for sure. Not away. We'll play home games, I suspect. We're regrouping. We're counter-pressing. Livakovic throws long, and we're not pressing at all. Unless we play a pressing forward, in which case I might do a prevent goalkeeper short distribution. This is done pretty well for us, I have to say. Very well. So there's pre-season. I mean, a lot of it's junk. Admira, Vaka, Vaka, Innsbruck, whatever, smashing those teams. 5-0 over Charleroi. The Cash Cow Cup. But 4-0 win over Olympique Lyonnais. I thought, oh wow. Then I realised why they're playing a B team. A 3-2 win over a most definite, first team Paris Saint-Germain team. And, we were like 2-0 up, and then they scored one back, and then I think they scored again before half time, and then we scored the final goal, Gvardiol, with a near post header. And then a 6-0 demolishing, same formation, with the second string team over Buggish Gladbach. So wingers are back. Now, there is one difference with this winger formation versus last year. I'm not doing overlapping here. So whilst the fullbacks are on attack, we're not holding back and letting them go forward as much. They'll obviously naturally go forward, but anyway, we're going to see how we go. Obviously, we can always go back, bench Conceição and Nkuku, and go back to sort of playing through the middle. We've got plenty of midfielders to do that with. This, in theory, is the first team. So it's Livakovic in goal, Frances and Angelino and in their sort of full attacking fullback positions. Gvardiol and Simakan, just like last season, and their little relationship's going. Kamara in the hole. Yep, that's where he's playing. He's got a screamer also from midfield at one point. He's not particularly good at that, but he did. Then someone in midfield. Now, Elias here is currently as an attacking midfielder. Maybe we'll leave it at that. That's how he naturally likes to play. Olmo in the hole. He and Slobozai are going to be fighting for that role because Slobozai was outstanding in pre-season. Conceição on the left had a great pre-season. Nkuku on the right. Nkuku on the left. He too had a pretty decent season. But we've got Almada and we've got Brooksy. So they can step into those roles. And as I said, Adeyemi. Have a look down here. So if we look at the goal scorers here. Adeyemi, pen goal. Adeyemi, 28th minute. Adeyemi, 29th, 32 minute. The only reason he didn't score in the Gladbach game is because they didn't play him, but he just scores for fun. I mean, really outrageous. I'll show you a goal. So here we are in the Paris Saint-Germain game, and I think this is an important game because look, here's who was playing. I mean, this is a very bloody good team. I don't know why Messi's playing down there. He should be somewhere else. But anyway, so this is a good team, although a team beaten by Monaco to Ligue 1 title last season. Anyway, here are the goals. Okay, so Elias Mariba, Angelino. Now watch, look at that. See that run from Adeyemi? The early ball, Adeyemi finish. 12 finishing. Now obviously Donnarumma could have done better there. That's what they're pointing out. Here's Olmo. Look at the run of Adeyemi. He's just got so much pace and he chips Donnarumma. Outstanding. Paris Saint-Germain goals. Yeah. Oh, we can watch them. Yeah, nice. Simakan did not have a good game. I remember pulling him off. Neymar, Ramos scores. That's what he does. And here we go. Slobozai fires it in. And Gvardiol, near post headers. Yeah. So, he's good. He really is good. And I think, again, Jack over at Work the Space discovered that as well. Yes. So, he will be our starter. Now, Yes, I am scouting Lautaro Martinez. He was just so good in FM21. And yeah, I do. You just need a really good striker. So I have no report on him yet, but we are scouting him. He's 24, so he does kind of fall outside of what we're supposed to do. 71 to 111. I'll find a way if I need to. He's really bloody good. In the meantime, we still have Brian Bobby. Brian Bobby had a fairly decent preseason. Thiago Tomas is on the bench. We've got guys down in the second team and the under-19s. Adeyemi was outstanding, really good. There's plenty of decent strikers here. These players can find the net. And look, if Adeyemi can stay fit, great, fantastic. All right, so that was pre-season, the transfer window with everything, bucket loads of changes. Let's look at the fixtures we will come back for. Well, it's staring us in the face, Dortmund and Borussia Gladbach. Now, last season stretched. It was like 9 episodes in last season. Ridiculous. Got to be like 5. And given that we don't have champions, we're going to blitz through this. So we're going to be playing, the big games. So Dortmund and Mönchengladbach here. If we go here, maybe we come back and play Hertha, and maybe we see how they're going. Obviously Bayern and Hoffenheim. We'll try not to be repetitive. Wolfsburg, the teams we assume that, we need to beat. If we look at, again, the season preview and what the bookies say, Mönchengladbach, Bayer, Wolfsburg, Frankfurt maybe. I guess you heard, top half. We don't want to be down here. We want to be up here. First game's away at Mainz, and then we've got a home game to Union Berlin, and we just need to beat them. We don't feature at all. I mean, if you look at the Dream 11, it's Royce and the entire München team. So whatever, who cares? They win the league for now, and then we come back in the third season and win it back. But we need to secure, second, third spot. And I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, particularly because Dortmund have let Haaland go. He was just so dangerous. And who knows, maybe with the loss of Lewandowski, Bayern might slip up as well. They certainly haven't brought anyone that impressive. I mean, yes, Muller's good. Of course he's good. Sané, he's fast. Gnabry, anyway, that's it. So we're going to come back for the Dortmund and Mönchengladbach games for the first episode proper of the season. Thanks for sticking with it too, and thanks for last season. It was a drag. It's not going to be a drag this season. Regardless of what happens, we're going to fly through it. If something like what happened last season happened this season, I'm just going to fly through it. And if we get sacked, we get sacked. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to drop a like if you did like what you saw, and don't forget to subscribe, because we have this season and we have the announcement of the Save Proper Call of Footy Modern Warfare. Yes, we are going to Italia. We're going to City Chair with Modena FC. Fantastic club. So much untapped potential. We're going to take them up to the top and have them win as much as we can. It's going to be a long save with these guys, and we're going to do it assuming I don't get sacked. But I don't think so. They're a really interesting club. That's it for now. Thanks again for joining me today. And until next time, La Serate.